Hey guys, this is Not Lammers from Invoked 101. I've recorded this deck list before, and then I edited it, then I went to locals, then I recorded it again, then I edited it, and now I'm recording it a third time, and I'm still not quite happy with it, and Meow Meow's here, over in the corner.
Hello.
There she is. Anyway, this is the World Chalice deck profile. I'm just going to kind of jump back into it real quick, and we'll go through the main deck, and I'll explain some techs and choices later on. Alright, so first off, this is the most important card in the deck. This is 3 Cup. You need 3 Cups. If you're not running 3 Cups, then you're playing the deck wrong. This card is too good because once it leaves the field, it special summons 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck, and one of those targets is usually World Chalice Dog. I call him Dog, but he's actually a dragon. Basically, the reason you run him is because you can banish him from the graveyard, and he can special summon a normal monster from your graveyard. And if you know anything about World Chalice, you know a good chunk of them are normals. The last effect monster in the World Chalice lineup is 3 Lee. You really do need 3 Lee. I've thought about running 2, but I like 3. You can run 3 Dog if you want to run 3 Dog, but I like 2 Dog. So, yeah, that's it for the World Chalice effect boys. So next up is the vanillas, and each vanilla has a name. Every vanilla has a name, just like every card has a name. These vanillas have easy names. This is Girl. Girl is a level 2 water vanilla spellcaster. Doesn't do much. This is Man. Man is an 1800 Earth Vanilla Warrior. And this is the best one. This is Boy. Boy is a Fire level 3 Psychic, 1600. He is the best one. That's why I run him at 3, because he's the best one. Just because he's the most versatile. You can run any amount of these. You can run Man at 3. The only one I don't really recommend running at 3 is Girl. Although there was a card tech in here that makes me kind of want to run her at 3, and I'll get to that card when I get to it. Where's my other monsters? There they are. Okay. My deck's all screwed up. So another really important MVP card of the deck is 3 Rescue Rabbit. You really need 3 of these just because it's all vanillas, and this just helps get you going. It's just a sweet starter card. It's amazing. Too good. Too good. Another card that we run because it's a starter is 3 Agent Venus, and of course with Venus you run the Shine Balls. If you don't know what Venus does, Venus pay 500, summon Shine Balls, summon a Shine Ball from hand or deck. You run this because it summons vanillas and it summons them easily and it's not once per turn. And you usually want to see her in your opening hands. Last up is what I call the Discount Brilliant Fusion Engine, and in my opinion it's actually a little bit better. But 3 Guitar and 1 Mic. Real quick, what this engine does is basically you activate Guitar on your Pendulum Scale, discard a card, special summon Mike's. He's a level 5 that gives you an extra normal summon, and he's also a 2300 body, so that's pretty good. And as long as you don't have Dog on the field, you can actually use him to make Ib, so that's not bad. That is it for the monsters. I find that this is so far, I actually really enjoy this monster lineup. I think that this is the only monster, I'll talk about a card when I get to it that I would put in if I had it, because I found out I didn't have it. But one of the more important cards in this deck, Unexpected Die. I run it at 2. You can run it at 3 if you really want to. I like it at 2. This is a card I've wanted to take out, and I know what I want to replace it with. This is Discovery. I would run 1 maybe, but honestly, if I had Exodius, which is the card I would take this out for, I would definitely run that over this because Exodius lets you recycle stuff. This doesn't do a lot for you, but it does give all your World Chalice boys a 300 boost. Move those up. New card that I'm actually running at 3. It's not new, but I'm running it at 3, which is new. World Legacy Heart. I was finding that this card is actually super important to get your stuff back if you're continuously link summoning, because it gives you targets in your hand to go off with. So this is really cool at 3. So I like that at 3. That's it for our multiple spell cards, and then we have a bunch of one-ofs in here. 1 Dark Hole because we need a board wipe. This could also be Regeki, whatever you want to play. 1 E-Telly because we want as many extenders and starters as possible in the deck. 1 Soul Charge because this is basically Synchro 2.0, so we need a Soul Charge. So that's just how Synchros work. Then here's the new cards. This is Reasoning. Reasoning. I'm testing this out. I found that last night maybe this could help me. Just go off in case they stop your first Imduk. Maybe this could help you go off. So 1 is fine. And here's a card I'm thinking about bumping up to more. I just haven't yet. But it definitely seems interesting to me. And that's Enchanting Fitting Room. So what this does is you pay 800 and then you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and special summon any level 3 or lower vanillas. So this is pretty interesting. I played with this a little bit online and it's kind of neat. So I figured I might as well put it in the deck since it's a very vanilla deck. But yeah, that's it for the main monster stuff. And questions could be, why aren't you playing strikes? Why aren't you playing solemns or hand traps? And that's because they all clog. They don't let you go off. This is like an optimal synchro type deck where you just want to go off as much as you can. Moving into the extra deck, and I gotta give a shout out to my boy Anthony down at Dragon's Keep because he hooked me up with some of these cards last night, and that was super nice of him. So thank you, Anthony. I'll point out the cards when I get to them. But the most important one, 3 Imduk. This is your starter. You're always going into him first. I was running him at 2 for a while, but I like running him at 3 now, just because I found out how invaluable this card is. It's also the biggest weakness of the deck. Next up is the Link 2 Ib. I run 2 and 2 Aurum. One of these was given to me by Anthony, so again, thanks to him. Ib is not super important. Aurum is definitely the one, because you're definitely using these 2 to go into this guy, which is a little kind of unfortunate. But this guy is so good in the deck. He's basically able to tribute off a World Chalice he points to and summon another monster from the graveyard, any monster, to a zone he points to, so he can revive your Link monsters, such as another card Anthony gave me, Ningirsu. Anthony gave me one of these last night. Super sweet of him. That was awesome. Ningirsu is the best one out of the entire kit of World Chalice dudes. Able to send cards to the graveyard, non-targeting. I was using this against a Cosmo player to send my dead Guitar to the grave and send one of his big ships to the grave because it just didn't work. Because it didn't target. So, but yeah, he is definitely the best one. And he lets you draw cards. You can chain him, hit from his summon effect to the sending of these guys, so that way you can draw more cards off him, which is nuts. But yeah, he's easily the best one. And some people will be like, oh, only run 1. That's it for the World Chalice Link monsters. Moving into the non-World Chalice Link monsters. These ones are more of the optional swap out guys. I run 2 Link Spider because we're running a lot of vanillas, and he actually combos extremely well with stuff like Imduk, being able to use normal or special summon him, and then go, can you get Oz out? Being able to special summon him, and then special summon a vanilla to the point, make Imduk, and then Imduk's effect to give you an additional normal. Just insane combos in this deck with Link Spider. Next up, of course, is 2 Proxy Dragon. It's basically just a better version of Ib, except it doesn't summon World Chalices when it's sent to the graveyard. Just a really good card overall. Then we have 1 Gaia Saber for our Link 3, not Gaia Saber, 1 Trigate Wizard for our Link 3. Super cool because you can easily make co-linked monsters to this guy. It's just super rad, just such a good card. And then the final card that Anthony gave me, and this is probably my favorite one that he gave me. This card is just so nuts. Gaia Saber. He points down. This is kind of my firewall alternative for right now, just because I was using firewalls last night, but they belong to Gorov, so I don't have them with me. But yeah, Gaia Saber definitely one of the most invaluable cards in my extra deck currently. So again, thanks to Anthony down at Dragon's Keep for this card. But yeah, so some other options you can run in your extra deck if you don't quite like that. Of course, Firewall, you usually want to run 1 or 2 of the Firewall Dragon. You could probably run a Scoldy when he comes out. Then there's some other options. Binary Sorceress, I was playing around with this. She's just not as good as Trigate, so there was really no point to go into her. And then, of course, Decode Talker. I was playing this card in my extra deck last night, but I took him out after I got the second Aurum, because if you can make Decode, you can also make Aurum, so yeah. Anyway, just overall, this deck is pretty cool. But this deck is also not for me. This deck is for my buddy James. He's off in the National Guard. So here you go, James. I hope you enjoy this deck. Again, thanks. I'll be editing it a little bit. Thanks to Anthony for hooking me up with some of these extra deck cards. And overall, oh, another thing. This is the most camera shy deck ever. Every time I put the camera on it, it wouldn't win. But every time I took the camera off, I played 3 matches off camera where I was able to win. So I'm a little upset at this deck and its performance on camera.
Yeah, you just have to add that in there.
I'm putting it in there, yeah, because it was very unfortunate.
Boo-hoo, you lost a few games.
It sucked.
Everyone loses.
It was bad. It was a bad time for me. But yeah, there are a couple cards I do want to put in here, and I probably will update this deck as I go. Again, I've recorded this deck profile like 3 times now, so. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm Not Lammers of Invoked 101, and I will see you guys in the next video.